day 4 of the countdown to the Clique Kits and Bella Boulevard blog hop. Today I am sharing another layout made with the exclusive kit from Clique Kits. This is a photo of me and one of my little guys on a little date night that the two of us took at a local restaurant in town, and I just love that time that we spent together, so I wanted to make sure that I did a layout about the time we spent together. So I started out with some hearts that I cut out on my silhouette, and I'm backing them with different papers from the kit. So I started with the clear acetate, and then I'm going to back with a few other papers from the kit. I just put some adhesive down on the cut files, adhered them down to the paper, and then cut around them. I'm only going to show just a few here so you don't have to watch me cut a whole bunch of hearts out, but I did want you to see how easy it was just to back some cut files in case some of you have not done that before. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward and jump here to where I've backed all the cut files, and now I have my photo, and I'm just starting to lay out the final layout of my page. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my sewing machine, and I'm going to do some stitching from the top of the page down to where the hearts are, so it kind of looks like the hearts are hanging. So I finished all the stitching and placed my photo down again, and now I'm going to take a look, and there was the little heart on the bottom. I hadn't stitched all the way through it because that heart sits in front of the heart behind it. So I did have to add a little bit of adhesive just to that heart to make sure that it was sticking down to the page. So next I'm going to take my photo and I'm going to back it. First with some vellum, which is normally how I like to back most of my photos. I just like the softness that vellum brings to layouts, and especially it softens the lines between the photos and the layouts. And so a lot of times I like to back my photos with some sort of vellum. Now I'm going to pull different cardstock from the kit and see if I wanted to back the photo again with another piece of cardstock. And as I was looking at these, I just felt like a neutral colored cardstock would end up looking the best because I have a bunch of different pattern papers at the bottom. So I grabbed some black cardstock from my stash, and I'm just going to mat the photo with that and then the vellum, and that will complete my photo stack. So I'm going to place that up in the top third of my layout. And then I'm going to start looking through my stash of things that came in the kit. So the kit came with lots of different add-ons that you could get, and it also came with the ephemera, with a bunch of ephemera and cut-apart sheets. And so I'm looking through all that to see what embellishments I want to add to my page. So I grab that little Hello Love banner and the little piece that went behind it, and I'm just looking through some of the cut-apart sheets, the exclusive cut-apart sheets that came in the kit, and just trying to find some little bits and pieces that will look good on the page. I pulled out some additional hearts, but none of those hearts end up making it onto the layout. And I think I still wanted a few other things, so I'm going to grab I keep all of my kits in these plastic containers that I got at Joann's, and so you'll see me kind of pull that out from the side and look through that to see if there was anything else in the kit that I wanted to add. And I pulled out the enamel dots, and these enamel dots are actually really cool because they are matte instead of shiny, and I actually have never seen enamel dots like that, so they were really cool to work with, and I think a few of those enamel dots end up on the layout in the end. So I grabbed that little XOXO plastic piece, and that's going to go on one of the hearts, and then a strip from the cut apart sheet and that little arrow. So there I'm looking at the flare to see if any of the flare will make it, but because of the lightness of this layout, the flare actually added just too much bulk and wouldn't balance the layout. So I made sure that unfortunately none of the flare made it on this layout, but I'm determined to use it because the flare is just so adorable. So now I'm just adhering down the pieces that I want to add to my layout. And then next, I was looking at those strings coming down from the top of the page, and I was feeling like I wanted to add a little something to that. So in a minute here, you're going to see me grab some thread, and I'm going to start making some little bows that I can hang down from the stitching. So for a second I had to fuss with that banner for a second because I just didn't know if I wanted to have 3 strips or just 2. And I'm going to place that in the upper left-hand corner of my photo stack. And I forgot that I didn't adhere all that together. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere all that together, place my banner on there, and I think I will end up stitching through the top of that banner. So I'm going to pull out my sewing machine, drag a quick stitch across the top of that banner on the photo stack, and then that's going to go back up in the top third of my layout. So that's just going to hop up there, and then I'm going to go ahead and take another look through all the embellishments, and then I will grab that string. So here I'm just showing you how I will double up the string a bunch of times and how I tie some bows. So I'm only going to show one just because it took me a while to do all 3, but here's how I just do a quick bow with some thread. I do this a lot. I like the delicacy that it adds to the layouts, and it's because it's so much thinner than the hemp. I think it just looks a lot better. So I tied up 3 of those little bows with the thread, and I'm going to attach those to the hanging strips on the layout. So I'm using my multi-medium in matte to adhere those down to the layouts, and I'm just using, I have this little placer that came with my silhouette, and it comes in handy to remove extra adhesive whenever I get too much on a layout. So I like to use that not only for placing small things like enamel dots, but also for removing extra adhesive. So I was looking at my photo stack, and there was an area where I just felt like I needed a little something more. So I grabbed a doily from my stash. That's from Pretty Little Studios, I think. Pretty Little Studios also did some cut apart sheets that came in the kit. The doily doesn't come in the kit, but I just had it in my stash. So I just added that doily to the photo stack, and then now I'm looking to see where I can add those enamel dots. So I kind of fussed with those for a while and looking for a way to continue a visual diagonal, so working from the upper left of the layout to the lower right. So again, just trying to find a good spot for those. With those, you kind of just have to go by, once you lay them down, how they look. And I usually like to do an odd number of those. So just finding, and I almost always use the tiny ones. I hardly ever use the big enamel dots. I almost always just use the itty bitty ones. I like the look of those better. So I just picked up the layout, and I'm just checking it to see if there was anything I wanted to add. And of course I wanted to add some Heidi Swap Color Shine because I love the look of ink splatters on a page. And I had that gold in the Hello Love. and gold nowhere else on the layout, so I needed to add a little bit more gold to the layout, and that gold will tie in it all together. So there, I just wanted to lift it up so you could see it. And then I decided that I wanted to add the date. So I grabbed my date stamp, and you'll see me just add the date to the lower right hand corner, and that will complete the layout for today. Thanks so much for stopping by, and make sure you stop by tomorrow for day 5. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.